Well, something interesting happened in New Hampshire last night. You see, a group of parents showed up at their local school board meeting to protest the mask mandate, and in true protest fashion, they didn't wear masks into the school board meeting. Now, they were in a giant room. There was more than enough space to socially distance, but the science deniers on the school board were so upset that a couple of parents were going to come into a big, giant auditorium without wearing masks that they called the cops and used them as their own personal security. This is actually a highly disturbing case for several reasons. Number one, the mask mandate has already ended in New Hampshire. Number two, there weren't just a couple of cops at this school board meeting. There were like 7 or 8 cruisers parked outside. I've actually seen the video of it from people who were there. There were a whole mess of cops there. But number 3, which is probably the most disturbing thing to me, is that the school board preemptively, before the parents had even done anything, called the cops on the parents. And if this is not enough proof for you that the teachers and the school boards are not your friends, I don't know what to tell you guys. These are taxpayer-funded positions that are then preemptively calling the cops to arrest people for not wearing masks in a giant room where there is more than enough space to socially distance. This article from the New Hampshire Union Leader: police arrest unmasked attendees as maskless group shows up at a Timberland school meeting. A Sunday school teacher was arrested at Thursday night's Timberland Regional School Board meeting moments after she and several other unmasked attendees showed up to demand an end to the school's mask mandate. The meeting was planned to be held in person at the district's Performing Arts Center, but board person Chairwoman Kimberly quickly shut it down before it began and required that it be held remotely. So basically, so you can kind of see this. Maybe they have other pictures here. No, so you can see this is in a big room. They had the school board up on the stage, so there was no hope that these parents who were not wearing masks were going to get within 6 feet of the school board, because the school board was on the stage and the parents were in the audience. But is that good enough? Is following CDC guidance good enough? And we all know probably the school board's all entirely vaccinated too, but hey, science deniers come in all shapes and sizes. No, absolutely ridiculous. I didn't want to jeopardize the health of the staff and the students, she said, as several police officers and state police troopers swarmed inside and outside the auditorium. Several police officers and state troopers swarmed the auditorium for a group of parents that weren't wearing masks after the state mandate has already ended. And again, what boggles my mind the most about this entire situation is the school board preemptively arranged all of this. They arranged for several cruisers to be outside. They arranged for both local police and state police for a group of parents that weren't wearing masks in a giant auditorium where everyone was perfectly capable of socially distancing. The abrupt end to the 7 p.m. in-person meeting happened shortly after Atkinson resident Jackie watched as the police arrested her mother, Kate Bossy, when they entered the building without masks as required by school policy. So it's a school policy, not a state law, no longer a state mandate, and the cops still arrested them? What the hell are they doing? You are violating my rights right now. You are remiss, Bossy told the sergeant as she was being arrested. Come on, Sergeant Porter, you know this is wrong. What they're doing to our kids, one man shouted during the arrest. Are you seriously doing this, you guys? This is law enforcement. You're not enforcing laws. You're enforcing policy. They literally used the police as their own private security to enforce a school policy. Really think about that for a second. Really think about that. And then ask yourself, is there a reason that I'm wearing this particular hat in this particular video? Because that's insane. Wydola said that before they arrested her mother, they didn't have any interaction with the officer. She just walked into the building, and when they realized she had come into the auditorium, they followed her there. So this older lady, I mean, she's not like too terribly old, but like an older lady, walks into a building without wearing a mask. The police officers follow her into the auditorium and arrest her for it. She said her mother was the first unmasked person to walk into the building. Porter declined to comment on the reason for the arrest at the scene, but Wydola, who identified Bossy, said she was told that her mother was arrested for disorderly conduct. Bonnie of Danville, who showed up at the meeting without a mask with her children, said her family has a medical exemption. She said Bossy is the Sunday school teacher for her children, who were crying as they watched the arrest. We have every right to be here. I get it's scary, but that should not dictate our rights to be here, she said, adding that she wouldn't have brought her children if she thought they would face that kind of aggression. I came here pretty calm, and now I'm trying to calm down. Farrah's decision to hold the meeting remotely. So what happened after they arrested? So they were all in this giant auditorium where there was plenty of room to socially distance. And what happened after the arrest is they all retreated and did the meeting via Zoom. Science deniers on the school board. Guys, like, why do you hate science? Why do you hate the CDC? Why aren't you following the CDC guidance, school board? She asked if she felt threatened at the in-person meeting ended. Farrah responded, "No, I was in the army. I do not. I'm quite confident in the fact that I've got backups here." So the decision, so she was so not threatened that they ended the in-person meeting and went to Zoom. Farrah also serves as the Danville Board of Selectmen and was one of 3 selectmen who walked out of Monday's board meeting because a maskless crowd showed up and violated a board policy requiring masks in town buildings. Blah 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 blah. Let's take a look at this article from the Eagle Tribune. Timberland School Board shuts down in-person meeting over masking, and I like this article. It's like a little bit more dramatic. The stage lights went dark early at Thursday night's Timberland Regional School Board meeting when a group intending to speak against the district's mask policy refused to put on face coverings. Well, in the auditorium, roughly 100 people from 2 groups had gathered in the auditorium to speak against masks in schools or cuts to the music department. The majority showed up early to demonstrate for their separate initiatives on opposite ends of the school parking lot. School board chairperson Kim said she spoke with New Hampshire State Police and local law enforcement before deciding to move the meeting online. Farrah's decision to cancel the in-person meeting incited chaos and clear tensions between the groups, as well as the ire towards board members. Those in the audience chanted, "Let us speak," and "cowards," as board members exited. The only board member supported, however, was Sean O'Neill from Danville, who had his face covering pulled down. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Police ultimately escorted everyone outside and closed the building for the night. Melissa Marr, a mother of a 3-year-old boy with early intervention needs, was in tears. "I got a babysitter so I could be here to speak tonight. I just wanted to be heard." She explained that her non-verbal son cannot wear a mask, but needs support from the school district. She said despite conversations with school leadership, he has not been accommodated. Let's just let that nugget sink in for a second. For the last year, her son, who is nonverbal, has had to wear a mask because of this insanity. These people have absolutely no conscience. Marr's concerns were shared by others who surrounded her, including David Killey. He planned to tell the board forced masking is a violation of natural rights of life, liberty, and property without due process. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services guidance do not supersede the rights of the people, even though the CDC has now come out and said, you don't need to wear a mask. If you're vaccinated, you're going to be fine. So in fact, they aren't actually following CDC guidance. Prior to the meeting's scheduled beginning, Jackie Wydola watched as her 57-year-old mother, Kate Bossy, was handcuffed by police and put in the back of a cruiser for refusing to wear a mask. Wydola says attempts to reach her mother by phone were unsuccessful, and she is unclear what charges her mother faces. Some students, teachers, and community members who intended to speak against the cuts to the music department, told Weidel and others, "You're ruining it for everyone." Well, maybe if they had defended the right of that group to speak, maybe that group would have had their back. Just saying. So lest you think that everyone has lost their minds, I do just want to end this by giving a shout out to Robbie Starbuck on Twitter. Robbie's running for Congress in Tennessee. He is awesome. And he actually retweeted this story last night and said, if anyone can find Kate Bosse, the woman arrested for not wearing a mask to the New Hampshire school board meeting, I'll pay any fee she has from the arrest. I just want to confirm that I do actually have her contact information. I'm going to try to put them in touch to make sure that everything is cleared up. I believe she did get out of jail last night. They bailed her out, so everything is okay. But listen, the bigger picture here, folks, is that this should scare everyone. There was absolutely no reason for this. And the scariest thing of all is the school board using the police as their own personal security, not to enforce a law, not to enforce a mandate, but to enforce a school board policy. And I genuinely hope the parents in that district are not going to give up. I hope they're going to go back. I hope they're going to fight. Keep making a stink about it, guys, because this is the only way things change. All right, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel, giving it a thumbs up, leaving a comment. Let me know what you would do if you were in this position of being in a giant empty room and getting arrested for not wearing a mask. Another way you can support my work is to join my Locals community. Now, Locals is free to join, and you get all of my videos ad-free when you do. But if you want to help out and support my work, you can make a one-time donation. You can make a monthly donation. $5 a month unlocks all the features in the community. And if you do it as an annual donation, for $50, you get 2 months off and you get access to all the features. We do 2 Zoom calls a week. We do book club. You get to comment on things, get in discussions with the other people in the community. It's social media for adults. It's my favorite place on the internet. So come and join my Locals, kb.locals.com. The information is in the thing below somewhere. That's all I've got for right now. I'll see you soon.